It's a mistress of many colors. Here's your look at the NECA Toys Over the Rainbow Elvira Mistress of the Dark. Celebrates Pride Month with Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. The devilishly delightful Cassandra Peterson has played the part of Elvira for more than 40 years with grace, humor, and more than a little camp. NECA is proud to present this over-the-rainbow Elvira figure, celebrating the horror and queen icon in never-before-seen sparkling rainbow dress for your collection. To spread the love, when you place an order for the over-the-rainbow Elvira on the NECAstore.com, you'll receive free shipping. We've also joined with Cassandra to support equality for all. NECA and Elvira are proud donors to the Human Rights Campaign, which strives to end discrimination against the LGBTQ plus people. If you're lucky enough to get to the end of the rainbow, you might just find this pot of gold. Just before, of course, we get a closer look at the Elvira over the rainbow, I'd like to first thank the folks over at NECA that provided the sample we could have a look at. This figure is right now available over on their site for $39.99. Including the stand that she's standing on right now, the figure is going to stand at about 8.5 inches in height, or over the rainbow's Elvira is 21.5 centimeters tall. While I may have had a hard time finding the whereabouts of the red, white, and blue version of Elvira that has the stars and stripes, I do have certainly the original version of Cassandra Peterson, and I do have the scary Xmas version. Somewhat similar molds you can see as well for their faces, and somewhat similar molds as well for their bodies. I do really like the look of the rainbow dress. She also does have a completely different display stand. Same shape though, different design. Not only with this pickup are you supporting human rights, but this Elvira does have things we've never seen before. The figure, first of all, does come included with a flag. The flag, though, out of the packaging doesn't have anything on it right now. However, though, it gives you a chance at least to customize the flag, as there's different ways that you can actually label this. The labels do match one another, so if you see one on one side, it's simply just a mirror flip to that, and that's then if you want to have it printed on both sides, you're just going to want to remove the label that you want to use, stick it down on the flag. I haven't yet chosen which flag colors I want to use. I'm probably going to go with this one, matching, of course, the colors that she has for her dress. So it's just a case of just peeling the label that you want to use. And if you're careful enough, steady enough, and you have the right eye, you can just line everything up and stick the sticker down. That went a lot easier than I was expecting. We'll do the same thing on the other side as well. Now, I'm choosing these. You don't have to necessarily choose these at all. If you want to go with a different color scheme, you can do that as well. But we're just going to put this on the other side. Let's see if we fare just as good. No, this one's going to struggle a little bit more. I always seem to have a shakier hand when I'm applying a sticker. Do we have it on there? I think the other side looked a little bit nicer. We're going to have it this way. We're going to have it this way. And of course, this does fit into her hands. The thing about it, though, is that the hands that she's using are somewhat of the similar hands that already we've gotten before with Elvira. So you'll see that they are already kind of loose. When you're trying to get them into her hand, for example, you kind of have to fit this into her hand and just hope that she does a good enough job of holding it. Now, of course, she does have an elbow bend, but if you're looking at the way that the fingers are, I mean, you're probably going to be getting very little help when it comes to this hand, because this hand's just basically a relaxed hand. She does technically have also swappable hands, but those hands aren't going to help you either. So basically just take the hand and you hold the flag. Oh, that's pretty good. And it's going to survive as well the blizzard test. So while she's holding, though, her flag, let's look at the other thing that she also comes included that's unique to this figure. She comes with her memoir, which I think is Yours Cruelly. Surprisingly, though, being such a big fan of Elvira, I've yet to actually pick up her autobiography. Yours Cruelly, though, you can see, though, has Elvira there featured on the front. There is probably a read-up, and I would imagine they probably would have taken this and scanned the front and the back cover of the book and then shrunk everything down. But, I mean, that'd be impossible. That would be impossible to try to read that. The book doesn't open up, although looking at the pages, it almost looks like it does. I could store this on my shelf. If I have myself a small enough shelf for all my action figures, I could put that up right maybe next to Necronomicon. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I don't know which book really be even more evil. I mean, it's Elvira. But I love the idea that they actually gave you a tiny little book of her autobiography. Of course, that can also fit into her hand as well. Basically, this hand is going to be doing all the work. So, again, you're just going to want to just get it in between her fingers and her thumb. Yeah, and she holds the book okay. I think as a little side touch, it certainly would have been fun if they had found a way to get her, well, obviously not to sign tiny little books. I mean, that's so small that'd be impossible. And I imagine her as well, like as she gets a little bit older, no offense, I would imagine it'd be a little bit harder to sign your name on such small books. But if they signed it on a larger card, shrunk it down, and then have each of the individual books signed with her true signature, that would also have been fun as well. While the figure's there and holding her book, the figure also does come included with a display stand. I did say, though, earlier, I'm just going to get her laid down here for a second. The stand itself, if you were to look at the other earlier Elviras, I'm going to just take the original one off here. The original Elvira would have had this just in a black stand. The Merry Christmas one, the Scary Xmas, I'm going to just go ahead and take her off the stand, did actually have an Elvira signature. Now, this one has a very similar style of signature, obviously, because it's coming from Elvira, but the display stands are identical. This just happens, though, to have the, I guess, the Yellow Brick Road. Follow the Yellow Brick Road. And then you, of course, attach the figure the exact same way. If you look at the bottoms of her feet, she does have peg holes here, and she has a peg hole here, so you can decide for yourself which foot you want to attach onto the display stand. With the quarters, though, being small like this, you can't really have the figure's feet too wide. So if you want to attach them onto the display stand, for example, a wider stance would be fun, but again, like she's kind of start to overhang the side of the display stand. She's also obviously going to have a little more tough time standing just because, again, like with the earlier Elviras too, she has a very small footprint and she also has a high heel. So that's going to run a little more conflict when it comes to getting her to stand properly. I'm going to come back to that other Elvira though also in a second. The figure also comes included with, of course, already mentioned, a pair of relaxed hands. Painted very well is the nails on the ends. She also has there a ring, like a little ruby ring there on one side. She doesn't have it on the other side though. And again, these would just pop out with the hands that she currently has right now. Here's the cool thing about this version of Elvira. Not just the fact that she does have a rainbow dress, but that she also does have a removable faceplate. Up to this point, we have gotten ourselves a couple of different expressions of Elvira. With the ones that I already have on display, what I tend to usually do is I have different expressions depending on the figure. So like the original black-dressed Elvira, I tend to have with a winking eye. That's a nice looking head sculpt. And then what I've done usually then with the Scary Xmas Elvira, although truth be told, I don't tend to put her out on display until it comes time to like Christmas time. But you can see I just got the regular expression on her face, which isn't really that much different than what we're getting here with the Over the Rainbow version of Elvira. The thing that's really neat, though, about this figure is that she also comes included for the first time ever, this head sculpt. And it isn't even so much a head sculpt, it's a face plate, you can see on the back. So instead of having to rely on taking off the head every single time to swap it out for a different head sculpt, what you'll do, though, instead, is you literally just peel the front of her face off. Just peel it off right there. That already looks a little scary. Kind of looks like a tiny little mouth, little eyes. I'm in your nightmares tonight. But what you'll do, though, is you'll just swap the faceplate off. You kind of have to tuck it up first to get underneath the bangs, and then you'll just plug it in place, and you get this head sculpt. Now, let's say you want to use this head sculpt for, I don't know, this body of Elvira. What you could do is, first of all, you could strip the body down, stop that, get your mind out of the gutter. Or what you can also do, too, is you can pop the head off the ball joint. And this may involve, in fact, a little bit of heating up. I didn't have too hard of a time removing it the first time. Sure enough, the moment I start to hit record, and then we're just going ahead and pop this head sculpt off. There we go. And if you want to, you can swap and use this head sculpt, which I'm almost kind of considering using it with the regular black dress. And again, like it's using the same ball joint. I just haven't completely put the pressure down to get that lodged in place. But you could use this one, and then it's just a case if you wanted to. I would love really to see them do this with an Elvira, like an ultimate Elvira, where you get this head, obviously with the beehive hairstyle, and then various different swappable face plates. So instead of, again, changing out the heads that you want to change to, just change out the face plates. Love to see them release that down the road. Just an ultimate Elvira. Yes, please. Really good looking head sculpt and really my favorite of the three. So again, like if you wanted to, just swap it out with the head that you want to use. And hey, why not? I could also just put this one back to the rainbow dress. But considering that this is the one that came with the rainbow dress, we have to kind of put it back where it belongs. That's just going to plug back onto the ball joint. There we go. I really should have brought in the red, white, and blue version of Elvira because it looks to be like a very similar style of dress. Instead of the stars and stripes, we get ourselves the full rainbow treatment. All the colors of the rainbow are represented here. Red and orange, pink and green, purple and orange and blue. Was it red and yellow, pink and green? I'm not going to sing the rest of it. My daughter knows the rainbow song. Anyways, though, all the colors are represented here. The material that they've used here is actually a very soft, I don't want to say soft plastic, but a very soft material. It has a sheen finish to it. She does also have, of course, the belt there on the front. Now, one problem I did, though, notice with my Elvira involves me having just to peel back the curtains just a little bit. I won't do it all the way, but I will peel back just a little bit. You can see that she's got a little bit of a stain there of all places on the front of her chest. All the colors of the rainbow are represented. So you got the orange on the one side, smeared there, and I've got a little bit of purple also stained on the side of her chest. So it's a shame. I mean, obviously, if I'm always going to have the dress kind of covered over it anyways. I'm never going to be any bit the wiser until I start to go back and look at it again. It's unfortunate, though, but that's just, it goes with the territory of having anything stained like this. You start to color costumes, and then you put it on plastic. Sure enough, ... it leads to the same result. You're going to have a stain left behind. It just happens to be stained here, but it probably would be no different if I was to roll up the sleeve. Yeah, I don't see anything on the sleeves, and I don't actually see anything on the legs either. Probably because there's been a lot more contact. Contact has been made here. But again, like the rest of her body, it does seem very much similar to the original Elvira. I'm bringing back in the headless Elvira, so you can see, like, likewise, and of course the shoes, she does now have ruby slippers or ruby high heels. That's a really nice touch there as well, but it seems like they are sharing the exact same molds. I'm sorry, let me just stop for a second. I feel so wrong leaving Elvira without a head. Just pop that back in place. There we go. Move that off to the side. Now for the figure's articulation, bringing her back in. Head's going to be on the same ball joint system as the other three that we've already looked at in earlier reviews. Head's going to rotate back and forth. The head's going to look up. The head's going to look down. Obviously, by the nature of the sculpting of the hair, even though this is softer plastic, it is going to cause a little more conflict if you want to start to rotate the head. Does do still a decent enough job of rotating. Now the upper torso is also going to be on a ball joint. Be on a top ball joint there as well. You can bring the arms out easily enough here on Elvira. You can also bring the arms forward, bring the arms back. She has a swivel at the bicep. She has a single hinge in the elbow, and she also has the hands that rotate all the way around. The legs do split out. You can take the legs and move forward. They're a little on the more squeakier side, but you can bring them forward, you can bring them back. There's a swivel at the top of the thigh. There is only just a single hinge on the knee, and then there's the ankle pivot, the ankle rocker, I should say. Moves forward and back. You can rock it a little bit back and forth there as well. And of course, when it comes to displaying her on the shelf, which I will be doing shortly after this review with the other two Elvira, because I have I don't have the red, white, and blue version of her. I don't know why. Again, I put her in storage. I really should have brought her out for the review. But already, though, I had the original Elvira on display on the shelf. The Scary Xmas I don't tend to do until it's Christmas time. I don't know. When it comes to Christmas-themed items, I'm not the kind of person that likes to display them all year round. I like to kind of keep them special, keep them for the season. And I usually bring them out when that season arises. Though, again, like displaying the three figures, bringing back in the Scary Xmas version of Elvira, get her on the display stand. You know, again, like, well, they are using a lot of the same molds, and I would think the most relatable mold-wise would probably be the one that we got for the red, white, and blue, simply just because she has a very similar style of dress. I love the look, though, of the rainbow dress here, the over-the-rainbow Elvira. And again, nice little touch is the fact that they gave you the option to decorate the flag. Oh, maybe that's not the right side to look at. That's the better side. That's, as Julia Child would say, that's the public side that you want to show your guests. While you do get yourself, again, a flag, you get yourself some stickers. So, of course, you can decorate exactly the way that you want. You also get, as well, Yours Cruelly, which, again, I'm probably going to be putting on a tiny little small bookcase, along with the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, loosely translated to be the Book of the Dead. And, of course, the coolest thing about the figure is the fact she also does come included with some swappable faceplates. So the fact that if you want to, even though I do like the head sculpt with the one that we get kind of with this figure already, I'm kind of very much tempted to the idea of popping the head off on this one and replacing with the one we get for the black dress. So we have this Elvira with the shock look. Because again, like when we get, like Elvira Mistress of the Dark, a lot of the movie covers, for example, tend to have like the look of Elvira looking like this. I think that would be kind of the ideal face sculpt and face expression to be displayed along with this figure. And then what I might just do is take the winking face and then replace it then with this body and have her displayed that way. Nice Elvira, though. I'm really happy the fact that we got the chance to have a look at this. I'm certainly also happy as well that they had the chance to release this, not only getting a decent looking Elvira, but you're also as well supporting human rights, which is, at the end of it, the most important thing. There's actually an irony talking about Cassandra Peterson signing her tiny little book of Yours Cruelly, because the book itself already has a red signature of Elvira featured on the front. But the irony also is that at one point, their Over the Rainbow Elvira was available on NECA site in limited quantities that came included with a postcard that had Cassandra Peterson's true signature. I would have loved to have gotten my chance to get one of those, but unfortunately, by the time I got to their site, that version of Elvira was completely sold out. The good news, though, is if you guys are still interested to get your hands on this figure, the regular version of Over the Rainbow Elvira is still available there for $40 or $39.99. Not only are you supporting the cause of human rights, but you're also getting some rather unique accessories we've never seen before. Like the pride flag you can decorate for yourself. One side on mine looks a little bit better than the others. You get Yours Cruelly, but the most coolest thing is the fact that you also get yourself a flippable faceplate that you can actually take off one expression and replace it with the other. If you wanted to use it with the Elvira that we get packed with it, you can do that. Or you can also, because they're using the exact same head as the ones we've already gotten, you can use this head sculpt with other Elviras too. You want to use it with the black dress Elvira? I'm considering it myself. At least doing that way, you can change the face plates around instead of having to worry of popping off the head every single time you want to get a different expression. Though is something I would certainly like to see NECA do, with the idea now that they've already implemented with the Over the Rainbow Elvira, release an Ultimate Elvira with multiple face plates. All the expressions that we've gotten with not only the Merry Xmas, Spooky Xmas version of Elvira, the Red, White, and Boo, and the regular release have swappable faceplates instead of doing two heads, one head with different expressions. I think that would be a fun idea. In the meantime, though, I would like to again thank the folks over at NECA Toys that did provide this sample of this. Of course, was the Over the Rainbow Elvira, a great looking figure. What do you guys think of it? Let me know down below in the comments section. Let me know as well if you guys did get the chance to get the signed copy that came included with the Cassandra Peterson signature. You can rub it in if you want. I mean, you don't have to go na, but let me know down below in the comments if you guys got the chance to get that figure. Also, as well, if you guys did enjoy this video, do it a solid. Throw it a like. You guys want to stick around for more so? I hope so. Hit the subscribe, turn on the bell. Come back, please. As always, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.